So the dwarf princess Manchurday has the Hill fruit. Well, I know exactly what that's going to be used for at the end of this arc. I think the person in law somewhere up in the palace might, need that Hill fruit to have his arm kind of fixed if his surgery power decides to not help this situation. So anyways, this chapter of One Piece. 12 pages. Like what? Okay, so the chapter's good. It's a good chapter. A lot of stuff in this chapter. There's a lot of things going on. And it did settle a couple of plot points in different sections going on. And the purpose of this chapter, I can see why it's very important. But 12 pages, like, whoa. That's, not counting the actual cover title. For instance, the cover title of the chapter title. What the fuck? Like, it's a really short chapter. Like, I did not realize how short this chapter was until I looked at the page count after I was done. It was like, whoa, it felt like very short when I was reading. I mean, there was a lot of content here, but it felt very short. And I'm like, 12 pages, like, damn. Majority of the chapter is settling up plot points with the dwarfs. Like, the main focus of the chapter is getting to see Leo finally make it to the dwarf princess Manchurday and actually finish that plot point to where she actually gets rescued and she is saved. And at the same token, we find out that she actually has a devil fruit ability that can heal anybody from any wounds. And so instantly, I think when I hear that, like, okay, so that's definitely going to be used on Law. We know for a fact that is either going to be used on Law or Kyrdos, because Kyrdos, he's missing a leg, and from what it states, it says that her Hill ability can heal any wound, and so if she cries on his, stub of the leg, most likely he might grow a leg out or something. I mean, that might be possible. You don't know technically the limits of Manchurday's actual devil fruit ability. The thing is, though, also on top of that, it's very, very broken, because even if she cries, she can heal anybody. And so this actually explains how Sugar woke up so fast, like multiple chapters back. It's been about 20 chapters, 15 chapters. It's been a while since, Sugar got up for the second time and, Usopp put her down. But pretty much the reason why Sugar actually got up was because of Manchuray's healing ability. And to see actually how she pretty much played a role in how Doffy was able to constantly get his men back up and running again, it just shows you that now that Manchuray's back in the hands of the dwarves, Doffy's entire fighting power has just been like almost cut in half, because if someone falls on the battlefield, they can't be, brought back. Now, moving past that, pretty much the one thing I want to talk about is since Doffy's, fighting power has been cut in half because no longer any of his men can be healed, this is going to help out the Straw Hats and everybody else trying to take down Doffy, because if one of their guys fall, they can pretty much, get healed by Manchuray. Now, I wonder exactly how Manchuray's abilities really work, though. I mean, we know that her tears also heal everybody, so what else does she have to use to actually heal people? Is it, her putting her hands on someone? Does she activate her devil fruit abilities? I mean, I'm curious exactly how her abilities really work, because with the chapter, it pretty much states that crying heals people, but is it just crying or is it something else? Because Jorah acted like that was the first time that she ever saw, Manchuray cry and heal someone, so it makes me assume that there's another way Manchuray can actually heal people. So we'll have to see along with that. Now, the overall ending conclusion, we get to see how the actual princess is kind of tsundere, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you see her attitude, how Leo acts and all that at the end of the chapter, and pretty much, the princess gets pissed at Leo because of the remarks he states, and that pretty much ends the chapter of One Piece. Now, going back to the beginning of the chapter, moving past the dwarf section and stuff like that, the beginning of the chapter, I was quite shocked about, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? So, that's set up with the last chapter with, Robin probably fighting Diamante, gonna be fighting with Kyrdos and Rebecca against Diamante. Now, it's incredibly fucking hype, because, I mean, this was gonna be a serious battle for Robin in the first time in the, New World. And I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be fucking hype, because Robin really hasn't had a serious fight. And in this chapter, like right at the beginning, we find out that Robin has been sidelined. She's going to be standing in the back just guarding Rebecca. And Kyrdos is going to be having his, duel with Diamante. So with this chapter, Oda clarifies saying that pretty much Robin is being cast to the sidelines and this is Kyrdos' fight. So I'm like, fuck. Fuck! I mean, I understand Kyros and Diamante. It makes a lot of sense because, you know, Diamante killed Rebecca's father and Kyros' wife. I understand, and it makes a lot more sense for technically Kyros to take down Diamante, but it really pisses me off how Robin technically is not going to be fighting because that massive setup in last chapter really just made me hope and feel that Robin was going to get a serious fight, but nope, we didn't. So I was like, fuck. So, pretty much besides that, we have another segment to where in this chapter, Barto seems like he's slightly fine. He doesn't seem like he's completely unconscious yet because of the poison stuff, so I'm kind of glad about that. And Gladius pretty much gets taken up to where, you know, Jorah was when she got wrecked in this chapter. And, yeah, that's the chapter in a nutshell. It really is. It's a short chapter, very short chapter, but I mean, it's a damn good chapter because it settles a lot of these plot points. For instance, the dwarf plot point is finally settled with Jorah. Jorah's out of commission, Gladius out of commission. I mean, you got all these characters out of commission. The next fight, I think, that needs to be settled is Diamante and Pika. Those are the only fights I think that need to be settled, and pretty much we can now focus back on Law and Luffy. So, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.